Who in the fam is the drama? 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Rebecca.
yeah.
No, I was thinking Joel. So they say that behind every great man is a greater woman, and that woman is usually a mom, and that is the case for the guys. And for King and Country, we have Joel and Luke with us, but then also we have Helen, Mama Smallbone, and
Come out of hiding.
you are the subject of the new movie Unsung Hero. Okay, now let's get into this. It's a story about you and your husband David, old bloke, coming to America from Australia. Your daughter Rebecca St. James is doing well, and you get here. But it's not all fame and fortune when you guys get here, correct?
Very, very much the opposite. Hardest time of our life.
Okay, what was so hard? What happened that made it this difficult life for you guys?
A lot of people don't really know, but David's been in Christian music since really the genre's birth in the it was in mid-70s or early 70s. He was started in Christian music by 1977. We were doing concerts in Australia. We had a small record company. Basically, he was doing the gamut. His vision was very big. And then we had 3 major door closes in the late 80s, and one was losing $250,000 on a tour. 2 was the record.
Feel that.
2 was we had a record company and that was starting to go well, and there was good prospects. He was working with a church in Sydney. And then that got pulled away from him, and that was really hard. And then he was due to come over here and work in America for Carmen, and we were going to move to Tulsa. And then the month before we were to leave, that door closed. It's like for a season, every door seemed to shut.
Now, did you want to come here to the States, or were you like, David, this is a bad idea? We have X amount of kids. How many kids did you have at the time?
6, and I was pregnant with number 7.
See, as a mom, you've got to be going, okay, let's have some thought here. This seems crazy. Did you think this was crazy?
Probably. I look back and I think, wow, why did we ever do this? Or how did we ever do this? Not maybe why.
Yeah.
But God takes us through journeys that show us often where he's leading. And I knew his heart was Christian music. It was his passion. I knew it was in a way what he was created to do. Those doors closing he had already come to me before we lost everything and said, I don't know if I can do this for the rest of my life. The stress of never knowing what things are going to be like, what the next gig's going to be like, I just don't know if I can do this for the rest of my life. And so that's plugged into the back of my mind. I know his passion. We'd talked about other careers for possibilities, and it was just, there's nothing. Mm-hmm. So when in a way there was an opening to come here, he did have a job. We did feel that was definitely a door open. We didn't know he was going to lose it. So, yeah, we just followed that door opening, me knowing that it was going to be his passion. The door closing,
Hard.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
Because by then I'm about to have the baby. Mm-hmm. It's a month before I'm about to have a baby. In a foreign country. We have no
scary place.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we have no health insurance.
Right.
Everybody around the world knows. America, you've got to have health insurance.
Absolutely.
Or else if anything goes wrong, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah. We had no health insurance. We had no car. We had no furniture in our home because you come with bags.
Right.
And so it was dire.
As we talk about what it looked like to be poor, I have to believe that you also saw God's hand of provision multiple times in y'all's life, right?
Incredibly so.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, even the fact that we got into America, we stood out like a sore tooth at immigration. I mean, a family with 6 kids with a 6-month visa, 16 suitcases.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're staying. Yeah. Yeah. The interview was like
vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and David was taken into secondaries, a very scary place to be at an airport, taken into secondaries. They're questioning him. The movie shows that they questioned the family as well. That was a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's still a scary place. And I know Rebecca started crying, and I'm there going, cut the tears. Like, we're here.
Right.
We're happy. We're
happy. We're an American family. You know.
So, it was very stressful.
Well, the thing is, like, moms are always the unsung heroes of the family.
Amen. And that's why I don't mind you calling me an unsung hero, because I know mums,
Yes.
in plural,
Yes.
are the unsung heroes.
100%, because like your husband has this dream or whatever, and then you have a choice. Do I support him or try to guide him differently? And you choose to support him. But in that, there's sacrifice and there's faith and there's trust. And so you definitely are the unsung hero inside of this. So is it weird though for you to have a movie that kind of focuses on that for you?
Oh, this is the best gift of our entire life.
Yeah, this is where you get to guilt your kids.
Well, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't even know when they talked about the movie, I don't even know if I thought through any of the ramifications. It's just like another project, you know. And then to realise and to start to seeing it and going on set and seeing someone playing David and me and the kids, it's like, wow.
Someone playing David, yeah. Joel plays the husband. He plays your husband or his dad. Is that weird, dude? Like, or did he be like, oh, Jolie, you've got it all wrong?
Mum and Dad have been really good sports.
Okay.
In fairness, in the whole thing.
Now, the rest of the family.
The other siblings, that's a whole different story. No,
Yeah, did he remember it well, Luke?
They read the script. And
My dad didn't read the script.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Oh, that's new.
So Joel gave us the script about a month before they were starting to film. And David opened it.
I didn't know this.
Nice.
David opened it and he thought, you know what? I'm such a strong personality. If I get in the middle of this, I could create waves.
Interesting.
So he just encouraged me to read it. The one thing that I did come back to Joel and the scriptwriter Richie and say was, just be really careful you don't take the miracles out of our story and make them man-provided. Now, miracles can still be God using somebody to support us. But I wanted it to be more, this is a direct miracle from the hand of God, not just you taking us under our wing, your wing, and looking after us.
I love that.
Because if we hadn't have known to the core of our being that God was with us and that God was opening opportunities or closing doors, whatever the case may be, but that he was there and he was looking after us, we couldn't have done it. It was too hard.
So you mentioned the miracle. Like, is there one that stands out either in the movie or just in your life that you're like, this was a miracle from God?
I think the one that was the most astounding now as an adult for me was we came over and it was in the fall, so Thanksgiving is coming up. And, you know, you Americans make a big old deal out of Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble, one. Gobble, gobble, two.
Yeah, we do.
But we're not, you know, we're coming from Australia. We don't know anything about Thanksgiving. It's unfamiliar to us. You know, the rest of the world, actually, outside of America, does not have Thanksgiving. I mean, they're just that ungrateful, right? And so, you know, so we come for Thanksgiving, and a family just says, "Come over, and we'll show you the ropes." And towards the end of the night, I think once again the father of the household could just kind of see, like, man, something's going on here. Like, these are great people, but this is tough going. And at the end of the evening, he's saying, "Hey, I've got a brand new car here for you, and I just want you to take it." You know, you don't have people give you cars every day.
I've never.
And
had
the crazy thing is, we had been borrowing cars, and our neighbour next door, who had loaned us their car to go to the grocery shop, rang the insurance company and found out that if we had an accident, that they would be financially responsible for the accident.
Right.
So they said, "I'm sorry, we can't let you have the car anymore, but we'll take you to the grocery shop." Right. So when these keys are passed to me, I'm like, no. You don't understand. I can't take them. And he said, "Well, why?" "I feel like God wants you to have the car." And I said, "But you don't understand. If I have an accident, then that's a lot of pressure. If I have an accident, you're going to be financially responsible for it." He looked at me in the eye and he said, "If you have an accident and I lose this house and everything I own, and that, so be it. I know God wants you to have this."
Oh, my goodness. That's faith, too, on his part.
That's right.
That is absolutely amazing. And that's just one of the stories in the movie Unsung Hero.
Yeah.
You know, did you shield the kids from how tough things were at the time? How did you handle that?
We had to let them in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, and it's probably different from some people's circumstances, but we were so facing so many different issues. It really, we're on the other side of the world. So there's culture shock. I thought America and Australia was pretty similar. They're actually
Very different.
Very different.
Right. Yeah.
So there's culture shock. We have no family. We have few friends. The only friends we really had at that time were actually business acquaintances of David's from when he would come over. So you've got none of what is familiar and like comforting and securing for you. The only thing we had was God and each other.
Right.
So we could not have walked the journey even without the kids walking it with us.
Absolutely. Well, you look at the success that you guys have had as a family with Rebecca St. James, and then you have the boys who you've done very well with them. And all your
like these
kids,
boys.
all the kids that you have that I've had to interact or got to interact with through the business are all phenomenal.
Thank you.
Love these people. They're really good. So what is the secret to that? And like raising godly kids, how does that happen? Because a lot of times you're going to have some that run astray, and stuff, and you have a really solid group of adult children that love God. What do you think the secret to that is for parents?
Well, I'll be interested to see what the boys think, but I think that we saw God's hand on our family. We saw God leading and guiding us, and we saw the miracles, and that was witnessed by every single one of us. And I think that is definitely so. God impacted us through our circumstances, changed our whole foundation, really. Mm-hmm. And the kids were witnesses to that. And then secondly, I feel like as believers, we've got to invite Jesus into our home. And that sounds a real weird statement, but what I mean by that is not just, our faith can't be just knowledge. Our faith can't be just a moral system. Our faith can't be just going to church on Sundays.
Right.
It's every day. It's relationship. It's community. It's decisions we make as a family. It's praying with our kids before they maybe go to school, particularly these days with the insecurities of sending your kids to school. It's praying, talking about real life stuff in the car. It's incorporating, having devotions together, just being together, having family meals.
So we have the boys here, which is fun. I want to do a quick fill in the blank with you, okay? I just want you to fill in this blank, all right? Luke is my blank son. How would you fill in that blank?
Luke is
I'm bracing for it.
Luke is our solid son.
That's a great adjective.
I'll take
Hang
that.
on, we'll get to you, Joel.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, same question for Joel. Joel is my blank son.
Passionate.
Oh, that's a good word too.
It doesn't matter what he does, really. There's that, he just gives his all.
Does passion make him difficult as a child?
Yeah, I was very thankful when he turned 21 that I managed to get him to adulthood and that he was still alive and he had really no broken limbs or anything. I mean, he's the impetuous who thinks about it afterwards.
So there you go. Well, see, you got him to 21, and you need, if you have the passion, you need the solid. Okay, last thing that we were going to do with you guys, this will be fun. This is called Matchomania. I always do this with kids and their moms, and so what we do is I'm going to give you a sentence, and then I'm going to count to 3. 3, 2, 1, and you say the name that comes to mind. Who in the fam... This is Joel and Mom, is the peacemaker.
Luke.
3, 2, 1. You went fast. Okay. So, Luke, you're the peacemaker?
Yeah, I was one of those guys that was always trying to, in some cases, bridge gaps a little bit. And I think at one point when I realized I was a peacemaker, I was probably a little bit ashamed of it because you sit there and you go, that usually means you're the passive one. It usually means you're the one who doesn't like conflict. And I've actually started to change it to where it's like, no. What if I become a peacemaker who actually makes peace and goes after it and becomes someone that is, hey, there's a problem here. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to try and do my best.
An aggressive peacemaker.
Maybe,
I love it.
I would like to say a creative peacemaker.
There you go.
You
Who in the fam is the drama? 3, 2, 1.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking Joel. I 100% was going you.
You got to add the female component.
That's very true.
You're allowed to
Joel,
say
are you
that?
a little surprised that they said Rebecca?
No. He would have said the same.
And in fairness to Beck, I mean, oldest child,
Yeah.
14 when we moved, was the breadwinner with Dad
Sure.
for 6 years was a solo artist, not a duo, was 15 instead of 21 when she started.
I couldn't have had 7 kids if I hadn't have had Rebecca as the oldest. She was just such my right hand.
One of the sweet moments of the film, I mean, obviously it's pinged each of us in different ways. It's been redemptive in different ways at different times. In watching it back, one of the things that Mum recognized in Rebecca through the story, in seeing it sort of, again, re-imaged back, is how much Rebecca did in that time, 14, 15, 16, 17, as far as stepping in the gap and not only financially with Dad and being an artist, but even at home and helping and protecting and being the one that if Mum and Dad needed to go away, Rebecca was the babysitter. Like, so Mum saying, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you going to Beck and saying, I had really no idea. I was so busy. She was so, rightfully so, Mum was so busy on the other 6 kids and with an infant that this steady eldest daughter, competitive, granted, but steady eldest daughter really stepped in the gap in a pretty major way.
One of the things that it did for me was when we were going through our hard season, when we first came to America in 1991, Rebecca, as I said, was my right hand. So I could see her, I would rely on her for multiple, Joel's right, multiple different things, her contribution. She could basically, I feel like, do anything she put her hand to, very capable. And I saw her as that. The movie allows me to see the little girl.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, that's
so
really
it's
cool.
actually allowed me to go back and say, hey, I'm sorry that we put a lot of pressure on you.
Wow.
And I see the movies helped me to appreciate that vulnerable side.
I love that. Okay, final one. Now this is going to be you two, okay? Yeah. Joel and Luke. Who is the glue of the family? 3, 2, 1.
Mom.
There you go. I was nervous.
You engineered these questions.
Yes.
It's possible.
Except we blew it up.
These
You were
questions,
wanting us to say
thinking you
Joel.
know.
I was wanting you to say Joel, and you totally hosed
Like
me.
this is like a Wally rigged game.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I do. I'm very calculated, very Machiavellian. But you're right. Unsung hero, Mom Hellen is the glue of the family, small bone, and we appreciate you guys being on the show with us today. Thank you very much.
No worries, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Wally.